Welcome, Fabio.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate to be here.
I've had a great time with Fabio in the No Limit Society. He's been an incredible agent. Our dog barks in the background. Is that your dog? Neighbors?
There's both.
Both.
Yeah.
Fabio is located in Brazil. He might be the only No Limit Society member in Brazil.
Yeah. Could ask someone, probably someone will enter NLS. Because there was a Brazilian in the Costa Rica retreat. So maybe that person can join as well.
Yeah, Rafael.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So technically there's for sure a confirmed second Brazilian. Yeah. Fabio's had this great presence in NLS where he carries both a very relaxed and empty vibe and then also a very just authentic and unapologetic mirroring, reflecting, direct pointing. And it's been really important. So I'm pumped. Fabio, will you tell us about your experience with awakening through the veilless veil?
Oh. It started when I was 17. Now I'm 35. But at that moment I was getting at the university that I used to work at. And I was walking and suddenly something shifted inside me. Like I want to get better. I don't know how, why, just wanted to. And after that moment, people began to show up, books, this kind of things I was looking for, searching for. Then suddenly friends that were spiritual, but I didn't know about it, we began to know each other. And then like the mother, one of them also was really into spirituality. She lent me books to learn, so I was eager to read and to understand and to get more knowledge. I remember she was the first that told me about the I am, but I didn't get it at the time. So I keep looking, studying, more people showing up. Then I met some people. They had meetings where there was a medium. He would channel these spirits. And I remember that a few of them were already pointing to the path I am right now. But I didn't get it at that time. And so this group went for around 7 years until this medium passed away. So this medium was like a father to me. It was really hard. I entered in around 6 months, really dark night. Some suicidal thoughts started coming, and I could perceive those thoughts. It's why I'm thinking about that. And then I just decided to, okay, I don't want it. I'm going to change it somehow. So I began to search for things to increase my energy, like vegetarianism, veganism, just searching. Also, how to breathe, pranayama techniques. Then I discovered about this breatharian process. I already knew this process because a friend many years ago earlier had taught me about it. Then I began studying on Saturday and about this breatharian process, and on Wednesday I just went for it. Okay, I'll try one day and let's see what happened. That night, Spirit came beside my bed, like encouraging me to follow this process. The next day, another two spirits came. Okay, then I realized, okay, I'm going to do it. So I did the process. Totally changed my life because it was a process to deconstruct so many thought patterns, emotions, detoxify my body. It was amazing. So until it's been 5 years now since this process, and I still follow this way to balance my energy, to gain more knowledge and conscious about how my body, how these patterns come. So it's a tool to to help me. People usually think about it as, oh, if you do the process, you should stop eating. You must never eat again. But it's just another trick of your mind. So you need to release this resistance as well, this belief that you should not eat. And well, and after that, this process, many other things, many other paths open to me, like the presence, Bentinho Masaru, Eckhart Tolle, and many others. So I started to pursue this emptiness, this awareness, and this is how I can't change this direction. I can maybe sometimes slow down, but always this direction. My final destination, because we don't have a destination, but it's to realize the absolute. I can't shake it off. Even sometimes comes some fear, but I face it until I overcome it. This is a short version of my.
I love I love the mysterious ways that Source works with itself, because with its creations, it has this playful way of revealing itself to itself. And so you're just, 17, just chilling in your algorithms. And then it's like, what the fuck just changed? Like, wait, what? Like, there's something more to this than the algorithms that I was just in the scripts. Yeah. And I love that. And then sort of the, like, okay, well, what is this about? Like, what is I? Who am I? What is reality? What is spirituality? And then the slowly over time, like, wait, that's what spirituality? Look at all these people that are doing this and that, and the medium, the channeling, all this type of stuff, to slowly guide you more and more towards what you're bathing in now with Bentino and several others, where you do feel the very I amness, the very empty I amness that is the eternal awareness that's impersonal, and that is witnessing and playfully engaging in its creations that are endless. And we are that which makes even the great I am. We are the very source of that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because from that group, maybe just one person began to follow this path of presence. And because I talk about it with him, the first time I was explaining this presence, this emptiness, he thought that I was totally crazy. But then new things started to show in his life, and he opened more to it, and now he's follow a little bit at least from this presence. But the others, they don't accept really well.
Imagine somebody walked up to you when you were 17 and was just like, hey, have you ever thought about just being? You'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Oh, becoming aware of awareness, or becoming aware of the fact that I exist.
Well, maybe being, I could acknowledge, because after the last years, I could remember many situations in my life, because, well, my life wasn't really a paradise. And
you had the drill sergeant of awakening suffering come in there a bunch.
Yeah. And during when I was a teenager, I remember sometimes I'd like to lay down in a hammock and just staring at the sky, blue sky. And I completely forgot of everything. It was so light at that moment. It was so every time after lunch, I would go there to just relax, and how it's so good to be here in this moment. And it was because I was accessing, I was just being. It was the presence. So it was so good.
Yeah. And so even though we get these little tastes or glimpses of it, it doesn't normalize. We don't really abide in it until we really taste at a more higher level what it means to be awakened, to be truly conscious of the fact that we exist. Just really tapping in more and more repeatedly to the very awareness of awareness, awareness of being, awareness of I am, I exist. And you like it like we're so conditioned to not
Mm-hmm.
recognize it. And so even if we get this little glimpse on the hammock laying out, that it ends up becoming more and more of, wow, it's like beautiful water. Mm-hmm. It's like beautiful conversation with Fabio right now. And more beautiful. My very respiration itself. Beautiful. This very flower shirt. The peony. Beautiful. This very tennis ball that I use to stretch. All of these things that we just algorithmically move. Ba, 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 ba. Never to I am God. I am the beautiful will that is shared among us in Leela, in the divine exploration of this universe. I am the creator of this Leela. And you see there's all these little bit more macro level stages because you can get to the I am, the I exist, and you don't realize that that's impersonal among us all, right? So there's these little macro, or like I created the universe for this exploration, but you could be stuck at the I am without knowing that.
It's funny because during this journey, I read many times, you need to be grateful, the little things, and I started to try it. Okay, let's be grateful. But I would see things, but I couldn't really relate because I was seeing it with the mind. So it was a heaviness. Now when I empty myself, just being, it's like the other things don't actually exist.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
all a perception.
Yeah.
And then everything is light. You don't need to differentiate things.
Yes. Yes.
And even words is so limited.
Yep.
You try to use words to point something, but it's not really worth it. You can't really describe it.
This is a lot easier, the tennis ball, than trying to describe what love is. Yeah. Good luck using language for that one.
Yeah.
Think about it from the dream perspective, too. When you dream, you simulate the observer and the reality. Where's the separation? There is none.
Yeah.
Also, where is this is a tree and this is a house and they're made of different things? Nope. Just made of energy, just like this. The very same no thingness.
Yeah. What I like to, this year, I was with a group of friends and there was a dog. And I was seeing them and perceiving how I love them. And I was, okay, do I love them in different ways or different amounts? So I was in my mind just put everyone one beside the other, even the dog. In every single one of them, I would love the same way, with the same intensity. I couldn't differentiate. The only difference is that the way I resonate with them, like the vibration, like the symphony, but the love was the same for all.
That's another way to put it is that you begin seeing everything as that same God's love light Leela, but then there are different resonances, which is why, for example, you're wearing your green jacket and why I'm wearing this peony shirt and why I use this tennis ball on my wrists and why you feel a different connection to the light that is your mother or your father than you feel the different connection of light that is somebody on the street. But you still have the same love light recognition for it. But why is it that there's such a multi-year long energetic resonance with your family member? And so then there's that distinguishing. It's light in relationship to itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all light, but different relationship to itself. All energy, different relationship to itself. Which is exactly how the creationary play would go. It goes from a 0 to a 1, the all-inclusive awareness, into a 2 plus. You get your 2 poles ascending and playing together, and you get this refraction into infinity of all of the possibilities of colors, of expressions, of forms. Complete light.
Complete.
Just totally complete. Totally always complete. Totally always free. Totally always creative. Totally always aware and comprehending itself. But it requires one to fully recognize that that is happening in order for them to not be distracted by the layers of distortion. So you don't know, it's comprehending itself, but you don't know because you're in the bubble. You're in the contracted energy state. It's comprehending the fact that you are in your contracted state. But in order for you to know that you are it, comprehending your contracted state, you have to turn inward. There's no other way to know the data point.
Yeah. That space is like it gets deeper as you go, as you deconstruct yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes you think you're not like progressing, but then suddenly you take a great step, big step. And then you can notice the difference in a more palpable way.
And the entire objective of the creation is to explore and play with itself creatively, anarchically, with a desire, with an intention to see what unfolds that hasn't unfolded before. So you are literally being called nonstop to both go inward as the GPS callback to commune with the true nature, and yet also to express yourself from source outward as a firework. That's why you get the Fabio, and this gets the Atlas, and that gets the Paula, and that gets the Karina, etc. And that's why one of you likes the flower shirts, and the other one likes the tennis balls, and the other one likes the drawing.
Yeah. Each one with their unique way of expressing. And the more you go within, the more you stay within, practicing, resting your attention inside. Also, your expression of yourself, your individuality comes like develops in a better way. You can express it more naturally because you're not blocking anything. You're clearing the way, the path.
Perfect. Another way to say it is that you clean out the channel or the pipe itself, for the individuation to be in pure service to the creation, rather than with the blockages in the way, you're getting very little signal for the love light service to others. Rather, you're getting the I'm the contracted form of energy serving my onion layer distortion of I need to impress other separate entities with my Rolex or whatever. Yeah.
And once you realize the absolute, it's this pipe, it just ceases to exist. So you merge with everything in nothing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And the self-purification ends up becoming more and more trusted and less monitored. So right now I'm balancing between the two, but I'm experiencing a lot of monitoring, which has been really important for me. When is it coming from source? When is it coming from conditioning? We talked about that a little bit on the last call. Yeah, that was a good one. But a lot of people reject that process, and and usually the reason why is because the onion layer does not want to die.
Yeah. I think the last fear that I had was 6 months ago, I think. And the fear was to forget my passwords and stuff like that. But I was watching some videos from Frank Yang, and this fear totally dissolved. And then, no, it's okay. Now there are things that are subtle that I need to perceive, and just to pop the bubble of that perception to make something without bias.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yep. Is your firework coming from the person consciousness bias?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And it's so good, this journey, because first, when you don't know about it, awareness, you think I need to get better, I need to improve my way to thinking. How can I get more, be a better professional, but as you go within, all these things happen naturally. So you live better, you be more peaceful, usually, once you clear the stuff you need to clear. But life responds to you.
You could even add the it's a natural thing as you defocus or empty that you not only get to this being aware, I exist, but you you've notched back another into the very source of the I am, I exist, being aware. So you get to this very sense of voidness, nothingness, allowing the clean pipeness to come through into the I am. So you like emerge every billionth of a second from nothingness as an observer of the reality of your own creation at play with itself, and for you to experience and watch it. And then every billionth of a second, just like just yeah, just the absolute nothingness comprehending the absolute everythingness.
Yeah. First, you need to be a little bit afraid, because this all new sensations, this new kind of perception. But once you realize how it's so light to be present, to just be. So even if you have so many bad things happening around you, you can seek refuge in this being, because you'll be peaceful even if around you is a hurricane.
Yeah.
Some say it's like to be in the eye of a hurricane. Hurricane, I think, or a twister, maybe.
Yeah. Same.
It's peaceful.
Yep. Hurricane or tornado, regardless, which really is, once you get to that sort of stillness, imperturbable peace. It's so funny because you can, like, all you have to do is click on the mainstream news, and like you're just sitting there abiding in peace while the mainstream news is like and you're just like, oh my gosh, there's so little peace there. It's crazy.
I remember once I used to watch sometimes some news and things happening. Sometimes I was just laughing about it. All the things that get attention. People give importance to things that don't really mean. Don't really. Why?
I remember the phase last year where I was persistent about wanting to change those that were addicted to propaganda. And so then you get liberated from the need to change that of yourself that is addicted to propaganda. And you liberate yourself from the need to change your own body that's addicted to propaganda. And like, yeah. And so that's also another step of liberation from the bondage of needing to change your creation.
Yeah.
So you hold simultaneously having absolutely no desire with also keeping in your North Star position, igniting the planetary enlightenment.
Yeah. It's fun. Like, you begin to be guided to what you should do without thinking.
Yep.
You're empty and you just do things. You have more energy naturally. Like yesterday, I was testing to make a live in Instagram, and I was just feeling how it would be, because it would be my first live by myself. So then suddenly I clicked a button, expecting the phone will would do something different, and the light just began. Okay, then I started to speak, and many people like it, and also some said, "Oh, I dreamed about you 3 days ago. You were saying that you needed to talk to me, and then you post this video, and it's helped me a lot." So things like that happen. A 3-minute video, just what I needed.
Yep. Yep. I'm so glad you're getting the experience of creating conscious media. It's so important. And you get the immediate reflection too. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. That's great.
I remember after I read the book, The Power of Now, was my introduction to this subject. And I was looking for teachers or people who I could follow. And a friend had told me about Muji. So the first contact was, okay, yeah, seems a nice guy, but okay. Then a few weeks later, that guy, okay, I'll try. I watched some more videos, and then I began to watch many videos just to connect with the energy. And the first realization I had was with him. I was working in another city, so I was there and watching many videos during the night. And suddenly something clicked. I began to smile so wide, and tears was coming down, a lot of tears. I couldn't. It was so amazing, so light, so. After that moment, I need to stabilize, to be more with that. It's so great. And then I couldn't deviate again.
Perfect. That ineffable taste of union is what we seek, that we already are, but we're not subtle enough to detect it. And then after we unite with it, because we quieted our mind enough to be able to detect that we are already it, then we basically re-baseline ourselves through this perpetual realignment back to that state of perpetual union until it becomes home.
Yeah. It's like we need to consciously look at it. Then it begins.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's so important to consciously keep looking until the first sort of pop happens, and then consciously keep looking at what's the source, and then pop. And so, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, with time it gets more natural. Like this weekend, I had another shift, and now. Sorry?
Tell us about it.
Yeah. And now it's like I can identify with things, like lose focus from my presence, my being. But when I come back with attention, awareness, it's more perceptible. It's like
Yep.
It's more firmly based, maybe.
Yep.
And when I close my eyes or I just rest, it goes, I sense it much more deeper. It's like new doors opened, like limitations, memories, beliefs. I can now go easier. It's easier to investigate this kind of things. And yeah. It was a great shift. Hard to put in words.
I like how you said the perceptibility increases. That's a really good way to put it, is that you sort of end up becoming less and less focused on the object, and you become more and more relaxed into the awareness or the beingness itself. And then, like, if you learn how to just sit down on the couch or out in the sunlight, and instead of like having your mind run between thoughts, if you just like realize, like, I'm looking around as an observer right now, I am being presence awareness right now, I exist. And like, if you look at things, like when you look at like a leaf, and then the leaf like blows along the concrete on the ground, and you're just like, why have I never seen a leaf blow on the concrete before? And these are like the little things that you actually have never paid attention to, because you're not subtle enough, because you're too gross, you're too much in the physical, and you're not in the subtle formless awareness that enables you to see these novel new insights. And so then you become even more perceptible to, wow, I actually make awareness, I actually make realities. And you become more and more abiding in this most voidness, most emptiness that gives rise to infinite creation for you to experience and witness.
Yeah. Like, one of my first experiences with presence was something like that. 2017, I was working at a company, and there were many trees around the building. So I was walking during a break, and I was looking at these trees, and I could perceive, when I was resting my attention within, I could see the trees much more greener, wider. And then I could perceive exactly, like, suddenly the mind came back, and my vision shrinked. Yeah. And
Perfect.
then I started to practice this. Okay, mind and presence. They poop.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Perfect.
The color is different.
Once you get to that point of the bifurcations, that's so profound, where you can actually be able to see the difference between when the mind contracts into a thought, like it races off. You're experiencing like this much more presence, beingness, awareness, openness. You're much more expansive. You're actually seeing new color in the tree. You're seeing the little squirrel jump around from branches. You're like, wow. And then all of a sudden your mind's like, don't forget about that phone call that you have at 3 p.m. Are you ready for that phone call? And it's like, and then you just breathe and you let that thought disappear, and then you go, okay, back to this being presence, energy, expansiveness, and like you become really good at the deciphering. Yeah.
At that moment, sometimes was some thought that could come, but I was trying also experimenting like subtle touches from the mind, like really subtle interjections from the mind. So, and just that little thing could change my perception, of what I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like the little bit of awareness can subtly change the mind as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get a view from once you get a view from the mind, from the awareness, you never come back.
Yeah.
To what I used to.
You get a little glimpse of the awareness, and then you relax
glimpse.
back into that. And then if you get a little glimpse of the mind while you're in awareness, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what it was like. Yeah. And you're like, no way. I am not going back to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so robotic. It's so automatic.
Yes.
It's unconscious.
One of in I remember once a friend was murdered by her ex-husband, and she was living with my grandma at that time, and I was the first one to know about it. So I went to the place, and it was like my presence. They turned on for 2 days in a row. I was always present, because if not, I wouldn't be able to handle all the energy around me, so heavy because of the family, etc. But there were 2 moments that I could perceive my presence being just a little bit out of alignment, and I could sense all this pressure inside from outside to me. And so events like that can help you to keep and maintain your attention when something so strong happen. Yeah, it can catalyze you to reach a new height.
Yep. And that's a key insight is am I a victim to this suffering, or am I the creator of my own suffering catalysts to awaken myself?
Yeah.
Such a simple shift in perspective. It's simple now downstream to when we look.
Yeah.
But during it, just do your best to move your attention into a more expanded perspective rather than the contracted perspective. Like even yesterday, it was so interesting having lost 10 minutes of a stream that I had done. And immediately there was this feeling of like, do I live in 2021? Like, what happened? Why did I lose 10 minutes of this stream? It was such a profound bit. And then immediately, right away, I was like, I'm not a victim to this. I created this scenario for myself so that I could test my own ability to maintain equanimous and peaceful when this happened. And then I just literally watched my mind try multiple times to be like, oh, you should be angry right now. You should be frustrated. And I'm like, nope, good try. I'm like, nope, I know exactly where that goes. Yeah.
Yeah. it can bother you sometimes, or maybe many times, depending the person or situation. But once you get rid of it, not get rid, but you embrace it and integrate that thing, it won't bother you again. Unless there was a little bit something deep down.
Yeah, because you might still have a little blind spot. And
Yeah.
so, yep. And so it might come back to be like, hey, like, did you check that little blind spot? And then, yeah. And so it's always in service to awakening further. Yeah. Actually, I'd like to ask you about this now. How did you come up with people experiencing joy? So we have our calling here. So Fabio's calling is my calling is people experiencing joy. So Fabio, where did joy sort of come during the awakening process as something that you adored enough to even have as the North Star calling?
Maybe maybe because the lack of joy in my life was so much time in stressful environments created by my mind, because we create things. So, and I couldn't escape my mind. I remember, I think, with 3 years old, I was already just a busy mind with something. How could a child handle that? Later, I understood that I have I'm really sensitive, so I get thoughts from people around me or group of people, family, and don't need to be physical near, just energetically some way. So this was a great catalyst to propel me to search for peace and joy. So, but these people experiencing joy, it came after a NLS, No Limit Society call, where I could get more near, because I was just checking and asking myself, okay, what is my calling? What do I feel like? What would be like if I were to die like in a minute? What would be my joy? So first was expressing, sharing joy and how to be, because I already knew that I want to share this presence, this being, because just being, I could heal people.
Yeah.
Not heal, but I help people heal.
Yes.
Like, and not just emotionally, also physically. So then I was narrowing down and I came up with this people experiencing joy. I think for the moment it's what resonates the best with me. Because just if I in a not a very good mood or maybe tired, I just think about people experiencing joy, and naturally my heart expands and the smile comes.
I love this one. By holding the very sourceful energy, we help people heal. We help them ascend. We help them empty. We help them return to source and then to firework from there. It's so good.
Yeah. So, until last year, I knew that I could help people just being present, but I didn't know how much people would get influenced by this piece. Until I asked a friend, okay, what's the difference your life with Fabio and without Fabio? And she said, "Oh, I can't explain. I can't put in words. It's too much." Just because she's a friend, and I was sharing these experiences and this exercise that I was doing with me. Okay, let's try this, and just simple things, and totally transform her life. The way she use would deal with her family, children. And you perform better, like in your life in general.
Like this is so profoundly utilitarian. Even like you just perform better. You perform with more happiness, with more peace, with more joy, with more love, with more compassion. Wisdom. Yes.
Because mind can come, okay, how can I handle that situation? And if you just be, suddenly you get inspired, or just go for a walk and meet someone, and that person can help you, and things happen this way. Or even through internet, you can go online and find people you wouldn't imagine to be friends with.
I'm curious.
Okay.
When it comes to your calling being people experiencing joy, mine being people experiencing truth, and many people's are people experiencing some sort of profound, beautiful, already here state that we're just not subtle enough to detect. So the question would be, how do you feel is an optimal way for people to undergo that very turn inward towards the I am, towards the being, towards the awareness, because that is towards the joy, people experiencing joy. Joy is a natural byproduct of becoming aware of awareness, aware of being, aware of I am. So how do you, in a sense, with your clients that you work with your friends that you help, how do you hit the ball back most commonly to people to just become aware of I am?
Depends the people. Some who are really busy with their minds, with their ideas, and I would suggest just breathe, like Betim Masar teaches 2 to 5 seconds. Take a deep breath and exhale. Just one breath, you can stop the train of thought that was going so fast.
Yes.
If you do 2-3 times, it would really help you. And if you get used to it during the day, to do it like once every hour, two times every hour would be perfect. Others I can guide them, like Moji. He just tell people to put their minds aside just for a moment. And so I keep questioning and asking them to put their thoughts, their memories, their family, just for a moment, until we go to this I am, this presence. And they can, if they go, keep moving aside everything that's in the way, just relax until they find a place they can describe it. They can tell if it's big or not, if it has color or not. You're in a place that you can use words to label. Still the mind. Yeah.
I agree with you. That's been the most common, because you're right, it totally depends on the person and where they're at, but the most common direct pointing is stop for just 5 seconds, take a deep breath, and just relax into the fact that you exist, and perpetuate that process until you're stop the train of thought enough to where you recognize your presence energy of just being itself, and then recognize that you are the source of being itself. And then over time, you'll affiliate your identity more as the source of being and of creation, rather than I'm a contracted person energy in creation, separate from all these other contracted person energies.
Yeah. In the first, I used Muji many times to videos from him, so I could get more and more of this state, this being, and connect this with this energy. Later, I was using the question, "Who am I?"
Yep.
So I would keep repeating, "Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?"
Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?
Yeah. Like 20, 30, 40 times until I get this, everything, all depression vanished. And can breathe. And it was funny because I was watching all this content in English, and when I was trying to use the same question in Portuguese, didn't work really well. So what?
How do you say "who am I" in Portuguese?
Quem sou eu?
Que sou eu?
Quem
Que
sou
sou
eu?
eu? Que sou eu?
Yeah. Quem? Quem sou?
Quem sou eu?
Yeah. So what's the difference? It's the same meaning, but just different language. Okay. Then I started to try. I had to repeat the question a few more times, maybe almost twice, so they get the same effect. But after that blockage was overcome, then didn't matter now. I could ask in English or Portuguese. It's okay.
That's a really interesting point too. Keep going though. Keep going.
Yeah, and Bentinho introduced a new question like, what is me? He thinks it translates better because it's not a whom, it's what is. What is the absolute?
Yeah, what is me is a really good way to put it. See if I can get this to show up. Okay, there it is. So, yeah, so we have quien soy in Spanish. We have, or quien estoy. That's what I was initially thinking. Who am I? We have. Go ahead.
Different. Okay. In Spanish, estoy, and it's like, where am I? Would be something like this. And
well, where would be donde? Donde estoy or donde soy would be where, but quien is who? Who? Quien? Yeah.
Estoy.
Or que es yo, or que es, yeah.
Yeah.
What is I?
The estoy, it's in a sense of place. And soy?
Soy is
It's not in a sense of
being. Okay, so quien soy, perfect. So like quien soy, who am I, or quien yo, also like what is me is another interesting one to put it. Que es yo, right? Is another one. Or for Russian, it's kto ya, who am I, you know? And so this is really interesting, is that how many different languages can you write out who am I or what is me also? Or as, many other self-inquiry, Ramana Maharshi and whatnot, what is I is another one, right?
Yeah.
So what is me and what is I are basically.
Good one.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend people in every single language to begin like asking we'll write them out for people.
Okay.
Who am I? What is I? What is me? And just put these in your different languages. Let's see if I can get a little space between these. Here we go. My gosh, these questions alone will take you to your source. Period. These questions alone will take you to your source.
I think it was Nisargadatta.
Yeah, Nisargadatta. Yeah.
Who used this question for 2 years to get realize himself, no?
Yeah, Siddharameshwar told Nisargadatta, I promise you are the absolute reality. Just contemplate who am I, what is me for 2 years, and you'll pierce this veilless veil. And so, yeah, we can definitely bring the time down for enlightenment or awakening just based on this power law of like the best questions to ask oneself.
Yeah.
So rather than going into the question of, how does the neurobiology here produce sentience, which is, go for it. You can take that approach if you want, but just go directly via the question itself is who am I, what is I, repeatedly. And yeah.
But who is perceiving, who is...
Because the form approach is also useful, but that's a separate thing. That's the synthesis of science and spirituality, affinity and infinity. But you were saying, who is perceiving?
Yeah. Like, the idea is to go, how you can question to go deeper, right? How you can overcome these layers, pop the bubbles. And every time you have a better perception, you are more aware. And new questions will come. You start to perceive things that before you couldn't.
Yeah, these questions that Fabio just mentioned too, who or what is looking? Like this question will get you there too. These questions will get you to becoming aware of awareness, aware of being, aware of yourself as the source of it. Absolutely. 100% these are the questions.
I think that from where is the one looking, the one that is looking. From where I is looking. You can't describe what you are. You can just realize. You can just grow your awareness of it. So you can point it to people so they can look there, but they need to see it for themselves.
I love it. You can't describe it. If you want to, you can call it source. I mean, we don't really have better words for it, but yeah, the ineffable, the absolute, whatever you want to call it. And then, and then the best you can do is like point people toward it, which they already are, but they just have to turn inward. It's like you have to reverse everything, like reverse creation itself back to witnessing, and then reverse witnessing itself. And and then you're right, it like becomes a like a deepening for over time. It just that whole reversing process just deepens over time, and then that's quote awakening or quote enlightenment, is the process of both expanding yourself to the whole universe being you interacting with itself, and the dissolving of yourself into the very nothingness which perceives the very everythingness and is the source of it.
Yeah, you need to remove these layers, these veils, one at a time, one. And I remember once, the first time I heard about you need to go to look within. How can I look within? How can I perceive within? Now I understand. Okay, perceive. I just move my attention to something within, not really within my body, but just. And with this intention, you start to grasp it. And okay, now I can understand what is within. But you just need to give it time to get used to these terms, to these pointings, and it will naturally come to you.
That's a St. Francis of Assisi quote. That's another good one.
Yeah.
But you really got to follow this Fabio style approach. What he's doing is what the greats have done for millennia. And it's what I've learned. It's called the direct path, or the direct pointing. Just go directly to the very source of your perception itself and become aware of the fact that you generate and observe the very creation and reality, and that you're the entire thing. You're not just a person. You're the whole thing playing with itself endlessly.
Yeah. But don't forget that during this journey, you need the things that are deep inside you need to come up. So it can be anger, it can be any negative emotion. So it need to arise so you can perceive it and embrace it, integrate it. So the mind will try to knock you down using this way, these breaches, these blind spots. So don't worry.
Yeah, we'll definitely get a lot of these
challenges,
which are our own catalysts.
Yeah. But once you overcome it, you'll be much lighter. Sometimes you need to, if you can, stay with it, like 1-2 days to process some emotion, some energy, some bubble. Once you pop it, the difference is noticeable. It's amazing. It's like you can jump twice as high before that, because you have these oscillations. So when you go high in a high vibration, all that is at the bottom can't keep up. So it needs to go to the surface. Then you go down there, clean, integrate, and then you start to go up again. So this oscillation will happen many times.
Perfect.
So don't worry. Usually the first ones are the bigger ones. So more fears, things you can perceive easier. But then the fears, usually they don't stick. And then all these emotions, the sensations will get more subtle. So.
Yep. The ascent and descent happening at the same time is a really important part of it as well, is that you're going to have these periods of elation and unity and nothingness, and then it's going to be followed by like having a tortuous just suffering and catalyst, and that is going to further integrate and awaken you. And this is nice. We got a lot here, Fabio. We got a lot here.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good stuff. People experiencing joy, the very defocusing, emptying into being aware, I am, I exist, source, void, clean pipe, being your way to get to that joy and peace that's already present in you. Asking the good questions: who am I? What is I? What is me? Who is looking? What is looking? From where is the one looking? Love these.
Yeah. Woody there has a saying that it's like you're knocking the door, open the door, I want to go inside. But when the door opens, you realize that you were already inside.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Rumi's quote, yeah, knocking on the door from the inside.
Oh, it's Rumi. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard from Woody.
Yeah, it's all the same source talking about itself.
Yeah. There's different ways,
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show, Fabio.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoy it.
Good. Glad. We've been having a great time together in the fam, so this was great timing to be able to express our soul attunement together and how it blossomed on the program and got to the depths. The joy and peace is always there, yet it remains for you to recognize that. Yeah.
Oh.
Perfect.
Sharing.
Fabio, where's the best place for people to follow you? Instagram, you said you had some new video content. Is that a good place?
Yeah. Let me write here. Oh, Fabio Valentini. Let's show you. I tend to create videos for YouTube also, short videos. Sometimes it's in Portuguese, but maybe I'll start to put forget the word subtitles in English for people to enjoy.
Here,
or even recording some videos in English. Yeah, it's a work in progress. So.
I love this. This is great. Oh, this white on white. Oh my gosh, it's hard to see. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah, I'm testing things. So here is before I started to post.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So we'll put this link in the bio for everyone as well.
Okay.
So go and give Fabio a nice little follow and check out some of his great content there. And we would love to see some English. That'd be great too if you get the chance, because I know Portuguese is very important also. So whatever you feel like is most moving you.
Yeah, I'm thinking how to maybe create an account in English, because I wasn't expecting to to talk too much in English, but people start to happen now. The ones that are more interested in this subject are more and more written in English. So maybe I will prioritize this language. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I post something sometimes in English and translating in Portuguese also. So
Yep.
people can both.
Yeah.
People can join.
Yep. It'd be so interesting every time you spoke to be able to get it in Mandarin and Arabic and Spanish and English. Right? It'd be so great. Like pew, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak doesn't. You can just transmit our ideas and people get it.
Yeah.
Moody, yeah, I remember Moody said once that there was the mother of one of the people who usually go to the retreat, and she didn't understand English, but she kept watching his videos, and she didn't understand words, but she understand the message. She get the energy.
Yep.
This.
Yep.
Yeah. You just need to open it out and not put a barrier, because I don't understand this language. No, if you are open to the energy, you can get it.
Yeah, I think Rumi said we break all of the layers until we get to the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why with Ramana Maharshi and whatnot, darshan, the direct enlightenment communication, can just be done by the presence. No word. And that's why that example with Muji as well, it's like just the presence itself. Sometimes you don't even need to get the vocal vibration.
Yeah, there's this, the Ramana had a cow who got enlightened.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I just know that it happened.
I just know that there was an enlightened cow. I don't know.
But like during this path, I can sense people, like when they are coming from mind or they're coming from their source, their being.
Yeah.
So it's easier to understand. So probably as enlightened he could got it, because it's just a realization. It's not your capabilities. It's not about your skills and stuff. So you can get enlightened and just be try the way you are, with your fears, with your habits, all the stuff. But once you realize that, many things will get cleared automatically, and others won't hold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Eckhart Tolle was saying that his Zen masters were cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, beautiful. Awesome. Fabio, thank you again.
Thank you very much. It was amazing talk.
It was a really good one. It was a really good one. I'm so excited. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank
Super
you, everyone.
appreciate you. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If the video brought you value, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet to the channel, and share the video with people that you feel like it would positively influence. Much love. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. You will stay in the studio. We'll end the broadcast.
All right.